What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about Chrissy and Jim Jones. Now, they are on a new reality show with each other. And there was a clip that went around where they were speaking about marriage. You know, Jim Jones has been dangling marriage in front of Chrissy, who actually proposed to him years ago in an infamous clip when they were on the Love and Hip Hop, the original Love and Hip Hop that was in New York, right? He accepted, but they never got married. Now, they've been together for 18 years. But she recently told him that she has no interest in getting married anymore, you know? And when you look at Chrissy, right, she's somebody that is up there in age, right? And I think, you know, she could just be playing to the cameras, but I think that could be reality. Because you have a lot of these women out here who still think they got it, and they still think they can go out there and get another Jim Jones, right? So they're not really sweating the whole marriage thing. And Chrissy's probably friends with women who aren't even in relationships. I mean, look at Lala Anthony. She's out here bragging about men in their early 20s DMing her, right? A lot of these women see that there's attention to be had. So they're not really, you know, I think the whole, you know, we can get married someday. I don't think that that's going to work with her anymore. Because in her mind, she can go out and get somebody else. Right. And, you know, Jim, he doesn't want to marry her. Maybe someday. Maybe when he gets to a point to where, you know what I'm saying, he's just done, you know, being a part-time bachelor in a part-time relationship. I'm not saying he's cheating, but, you know, marriage is not freedom to men. You know, I'm not a supporter of marriage at all. I think marriage is a trap, and I think Jim Jones knows that. An interesting thing is that, you know, Jim Jones' mother has had her issues with Chrissy. They've butted heads a lot, you know, throughout the different reality shows that we've seen them on. Tons of reality shows, seems like. And they haven't really gotten along. But Chrissy stayed. You know, throughout all that, Chrissy stayed. And I think she might be over it. I don't know whether it was low self-esteem, whether it was a sense of really wanting to be with Jim Jones, but I just think that she realized that she doesn't want marriage either. Most of these women don't want marriage. They say they do in order to bring out that blue pill side of men, but for the most part, I don't think they, especially a woman who's at her age, right? Now, Chrissy is 51 years old. Now, you look at her body now, you know, you could tell there was probably some work done. But, you know, she's not looking too bad for 51, right? And I just think that in her mind, maybe she feels like the timing is right for her to set the stage to leave this relationship with a guy that doesn't really want to marry her like that. And I don't blame Jim Jones, right? Not wanting to get married. It's crazy out here for a lot of these guys that, you know, people that he knows that have gone through marriage and divorce. I just did a video about Kanye West paying $200,000 a month in child support to a woman that's basically a billionaire. You see how they always want the women to get the win in the end when they don't even need it? And the money's going directly into her account and ain't going to the children, you know, to a children's account. So I just think that, you know, women like Chrissy, maybe they get to the point to where they feel like, you know what, I can go out there and find somebody else. You know, maybe I was with, you know, this person because whether it be low self-esteem, maybe I felt like I couldn't do any better. But now I believe she thinks that she can do better than Jim Jones. I really do. But time will tell. They're still together. Nobody has broken up. But I just find it interesting how she has been the biggest proponent of marriage. Now all of a sudden she's saying that she doesn't want to be married. This, according to Madame Noir, says after 18 years together and 11 since she infamously proposed, Jim Jones was emotional when his longtime love, Chrissy Lampkin, doubled down on saying she's no longer interested in marrying him. In the clip of the couple circulating on social media, Chrissy said no when Jim asked if she still wanted them to tie the knot. For real, I can't make you want to get married. I can only ask you and tell you that's what I want to do, Jim told her. You want me to be this loving, sexual, crazy cook, this, that, and the other, but you come home and you're mean and you're cold and you're distant, Chrissy voiced back. Well, let me say something about that. If Jim was loving, if Jim wanted marriage, if Jim was the guy that she claims to be looking for, she would have left Jim years ago. What has kept her with Jim is his coldness, him being mean and distant. You see, you have to handle Western women a whole different way nowadays. You have to be standoffish. You can't show any type of affection and love for these women, because if you do, they're going to see that as weakness and they're going to be bored. They like fighting for your love. They like fighting with your mama or any other woman who they feel like is standing in the way. And that's what has kept them together for 18 years. Chrissy has been with a man for 18 years who's refused to marry her. If Jim Jones was a more loving spouse, they would have been separated. Now, people say that's not true, but come on, man. Come on. Then the rich hustle rapper emotionally explained to Chrissy that he knows he's put her through a lot. Jim said his mind is constantly focused on business and he sometimes forgets how much the couple has at stake regarding their relationship. I always been a man of my family, so all I know how to do is try to support and try to make money, he admitted. I don't want you thinking I'm selfish in any way because I love you more than I would love anything in this world. It's been a long road. Yeah, I've been there with you through a lot of it, Chrissy replied. And yes, you put me through a lot, but at some point it has to stop. Seemingly feeling like her concerns and feelings towards tying the knot went unheard, Chrissy asked, What are you talking about right now? We haven't even you just skipped 12 steps, she emphasized. No, I promise I'ma work on it. Despite Jim shedding a few tears, you got Jim out here crying and wiping his nose through the deep conversation, Chrissy didn't appreciate his pity party. Because you talking about what you put me through, and have you really talked about the steps that it's going to take for us to do better? She asked him. You're promising me shit and you're talking about it. I asked you to show me. I mean, after 18 years, how much does he have to show you? The couple's reality check regarding it and when they ever tie the knot follows up on Chrissy telling Jim several years ago that she no longer views them getting married as a priority. In the beginning, I thought that was the end all be all. I thought that was natural progression, but at this point, what is that going to change? What is that going to change for us? She asked Jim. I want y'all to understand this is most women these days, right? Instead of her being with somebody that wants to marry her, she wants to be with Jim Jones, a guy who clearly does not want to marry her. I don't know how much he has to show her, right? But she not going nowhere, at least not right now, because that's how much, and Jim Jones knows this. Jim Jones knows how much she wants to be with him. And I think that he just, let things ride. Right? Because he knows that she really wants to be with him. She really wants to be with him. But I think that this whole marriage thing, at 51 years old, Jim is not trying to marry no 51-year-old woman. At least not right now. That could all change. But I don't think it will work because Jimmy is Jimmy, man. Jimmy ain't changing for nobody. So how is that going to work? He's still going to be mean and cold and standoffish towards her,
So you don't want to get married to me?
Okay, they got instrumentalists, so I don't know if I can play that. Let's see. I think that's it. But I just want y'all to understand that, you know, these women are less and less about marriage, especially women who you look at who they're dating and they've been dating this guy for years and that guy don't even respect them. You know, he shows no affection towards them. I mean, these two don't even have children together. So it's like, what is keeping them together? I think the reality shows, I think it's business. I think Jim sees Chrissy as a business opportunity to do what they're doing now on this reality show. I know people are going to be like, I don't think that's it. I think they love each other. Maybe they do care about each other, but it ain't enough for Jim to want to marry her. And I don't think Jim should have to marry her because I'm not a supporter of marriage. I think marriage is a waste of money. It's a waste of just time because somebody's not going to want to be there, i.e. that woman, because she's going to be the main one looking to divorce. Jim Jones has kept Chrissy from getting bored. You know what I'm saying? So she's claiming he put her through all these things, but she's still there. She's still there. And she still is in love with Jimmy. She got on one knee to propose marriage to Jim Jones. He accepted it, but it didn't go nowhere. And that was 11 years ago. That was 11 years ago. Now all of a sudden she doesn't want marriage because she wants to try to put Jim in a situation where he has to marry her. I don't know if that's gonna work. I mean, it may sound good for the cameras, but you know, Jim is crying because Jim knows how to keep her on a string, and Jim will continue to keep her on a string. At 51 years old, does she really have options like that? Anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Well, let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll see y'all next one.